Welcome to the Parkscope Unprofessional podcast. My name is Lane. Joining us tonight is Joe. How are you doing tonight, Joseph?
I'm doing well, Lane. How are you doing?
Spectacular. I'm enjoying a nice glass of Four Roses bourbon that I got from Four Roses on Sunday. It was a good time touring bourbon factories, distilleries. It was nice. Also joining us tonight is Mike.
Where's my gold?
Is that a Horror Nights reference?
Yes.
Okay. Also joining us from South Georgia, it's our friend Nick. How you doing tonight, Nick?
I'm doing well, Lane. I really like the mild manner, mellow intro that you have going. It's very soothing and relaxing.
Just like Trump last night.
I appreciate you not interrupting me as part of a bit. That's going to make tonight go very smooth. I am hosting because I have nothing to say about Horror Nights. So we will continue. Nick, are you recovered from the floods?
Yeah, we're good. Well, I'm putting up a new fence Saturday.
A new fence is the best worst case scenario.
Yeah. As far as my place, I came out fine. The island I live on, however, there was a lot of damage. A lot of people no longer have homes, and it was pretty rough out here. But we're gonna recover, and we're gonna be all right.
People that don't live in the South/Florida, hurricane season is real, and it's coming, and you don't mess with hurricanes.
No.
So we respectfully moved our trip back because of hurricanes, and you don't mess with hurricanes. Not at all. So Joe, you want to talk to us about a little shake up on the West Coast?
Yeah, let's do that. We're just going to touch this real quick because Inside Universal's covered this in their podcast. Larry Kurzweil is out after 17 years. Karen Irwin is in from Orlando. She's actually part of the Universal Studios Florida opening team. And she's worked as operations with a bunch of places around the park. So, there's a lot going on. I'd highly recommend writing the InsideUniversal.net article on it, along with their podcast. They touched a little bit on it, and that came out today. So that's all I got to say.
It's good when park executives used to work in ops.
Yes, very much so. Ops
is better than creative or accounting.
Or merchandise.
Or merchandise. Yeah. The guy running WDI right now just ran the Disney stores. Mm-hmm. So everything's a little stamped like, it's basically, these are just malls, and I'll just put stores in malls. So
the Paul Preston
the more people we can get that are used to being in parks every day, used to running stuff, the better it's going to be.
Yes.
So that's very good.
I just got a text from Sean. He wanted to let everybody know that he loves Hocus Pocus and it's the greatest movies of the 1990s.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He was going on and on today in our group chat about how much he loves Hocus Pocus. And which Sanderson sister he would cosplay as.
Also, he couldn't stop talking
Bette Midler, of course.
He couldn't stop talking about Space Jam, too.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody get up. It's time to jam now.
Go ahead and at him if you so desire.
Yeah, but don't, because he's not on Twitter anymore for the public to talk to. But that's not important.
Go for it.
That's not important.
Get him.
You know what is important?
Our trip?
Halloween Horror Nights. This is going to be a heavy trip report show. Not a lot of news. Everybody's just having fun. And now we're going to talk about Parkscope, going down to Horror Nights. So, as we learned, it got moved back a week, and I did not get to participate. So, our hotels got moved from our wonderful, nice at Universal hotels to places such as
the
Very sketch
Inn.
Rosen Inn.
Oh, it wasn't that sketch.
It wasn't
pretty
bad.
sketch.
Nah.
It wasn't
would you
bad
stay
at all.
there again?
No.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I have no
Was it
idea.
walking?
No, it's not walking distance.
Okay. Because when we went down for the Halloween trip last year, we stayed at the DoubleTree, I think, and it was walking distance, and that was just fine.
Yeah.
You could walk if you were insane.
If you liked crossing
drive.
busy highways and walking
And
like
or
half an
Uber.
hour, you could Uber.
So the DoubleTree was
wasn't
like
bad.
right across the street, and I always prefer to walk if I can to be at parks.
This was right across I-4, so
Yeah, you don't want to be a part of that.
no. But I mean, it was clean. It was fine. I didn't feel unsafe there. I thought I would have liked for the beds to be a little bit bigger. But besides that was my only complaint.
I would have liked the air conditioning units not to blow on me all night. That'd been real nice.
Oh, get out of there.
Oh,
you picked the bed by the air conditioner. That is your problem.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that having it at 65, like, it would just blow all over me and give me a cold.
Yeah.
It was glorious.
Shut up.
In retrospect.
Glorious.
When you're not paying the bill, it's great.
There will come a day where we'll stay closer, and if they do the November thing, then I might try to do a little one-night action and stay at an offsite. So I will take that into account.
Miss Parkscope Band has requested Sapphire Falls next trip.
Okay.
Cabana Bay.
Did y'all get to walk through Sapphire?
It is very
No.
Okay.
We didn't go to any of the hotels.
The boat transportation is very important to her. I'm
See, I'd rather just
passing
stay
it
at Royal.
on.
I'd rather
Hashtag
stay at Royal
overrated.
Walk.
Yeah.
If we're talking hypotheticals,
If you're staying for the boat, you need to just go Portofino because that's the one that makes the boat worth it.
also it's so nice.
Yeah.
I don't have anything bad to say about Portofino. It can get expensive, but that's
where
not
Chance
a
got
negative
arrested.
thing.
It's not cool.
Who got arrested?
Chance got arrested there.
Chance.
Oh, on the boats?
No, it's...
No,
we'll
in the hallways
later.
of Portofino.
Mm.
We'll explain it later.
All right.
No, that's not important right now. So
Well,
y'all
should
did
we
some
do like other podcasts and just start with the shows and then make people wait a week for houses?
We could, but we're not going to.
No, we're going to knock this
Shots
out because we're going
fired.
to have more stuff to talk about next time. Let's go into the Halloween Horror Nights activities that y'all encountered. So you had one day and you were dead set on doing this one activity. What was it, Nick?
Hoop-dee-doo.
Now, whose first time was it at Hoop?
And
Mine.
Okay,
Jen's.
Me as in Joe.
Nick and Joe
who?
and Ann. Mike, had you been to Hoop?
And
Before?
Jenna
Had you been to
first.
Hoop before?
I had been twice before.
Okay, so you understood how wonderful things were about to be.
Yes, but I had never been of drinking age.
Does it make it much more fun?
Yes.
Yes.
A picture of Yingling. So my it's just difficult to eat that much delicious cornbread and then drink a pitcher of Yingling in the same sitting and then I don't know. I guess I just eat too much fried chicken and ribs. I love it. Do y'all want to talk about the food any?
The food was
nothing but-
amazing.
Yeah.
I have nothing but
delicious.
wonderful things to say about the food at Hoop
The fried chicken's
So
amazing.
we had to earn our pitcher of Yingling. They
Okay.
made us drink 2 beers before we can have a pitcher.
A piece?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, because I've been there
Wow.
with like groups of 2 before, and they're like, "Do you both want glasses?" And we're like, "Yes."
Well, we
And I
got
just-
a glass, and then we asked if we could have a pitcher, and he said, after you finish this glass. Well, then they brought us another glass. So we had
That's
2
fine.
glasses, and then they brought us a pitcher, and we killed it. Not
Yeah, y'all
bragging or
did.
anything.
That's very exciting. So, did you all sing along? Have a good time?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We did.
I heard rumors of stomping.
We jumping.
The structural integrity of
Jumping
Pioneer
and-
Hall.
The 1971 construction of Pioneer Hall, yes.
Love it.
We pushed it to the
and
limit.
And our pal Deba had the most amazing spotlight action of the entire trip.
What happened? Okay, tell this story because I've heard no Diva stories. So Diva got to take my seat, and everyone loves Mark Diva. No questions asked. What is this Diva story?
So they had what was it, guys? It was like a yodel call or something that went on for a long time
Yeah.
up past everybody else, and they put the spotlight on Deba like he was the one doing it.
Everyone was like going yeehaw, but then like someone had like this deep baritone like pumping through the speakers, and then they just put the spotlight on Deba.
Oh, that's awesome.
And everybody is staring at Deba and laughing and clapping, and
Meg
of
was
course
turning
Deba
red.
is being Deba. Yeah.
That's so
It was
so
amazing.
exciting. Hoop-de-Doo is everything that's right about Disney World.
Yes.
Yes.
In one show, in one campground, and you take a boat over there if you can. Hoop-de-Doo is everything that's right about Disney World and everything that's unique to Disney World, not only to the other worldwide resorts, but to Disney World, like as its own unique vacation. Hoop-de-Doo is the best Best for families, best for couples. Doesn't matter how old you are. You can even not like silly fun, and you're gonna like hoop-de-doo fun.
It's a big time throwback to the great days.
Yeah. But even in its first day, they were throwing back to a time that was just fun, and that's what's great about it is you get a show, you get maybe the best meal, the best pound for pound, not the best pound for pound, the best pounds of food on property. Hoop-de-doo is the best.
Yeah.
That fried chicken though.
It's so good. Okay, and did y'all do anything after you went to Hoop?
Went to Trader Sam's.
Went to Trader Sam's Heaven on Earth?
we locked it down there too.
That's what I heard. It looked like you had a few different tables. Had a good old time.
So when we got there, it was about an hour and a half to get inside. So we all got a drink outside, and then we just chilled, all that stuff. And then we went inside. We all tried to cram around this one table. Then we moved across the bar to underneath the Shrunken Zombie, and then we moved to the right of us because everyone was leaving. So we ended up with like 2 tables and like 10 of us around these 2 tables.
I love it.
We had a podcast with Deba.
Yes.
Check it
live
out.
Live at Trader Sam's?
Yes, 4 Parks, 1 Deba.
Everybody should go listen to the podcasts. 4 Parks, 1 Deba.
I think it's on SoundCloud?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And
It'll
it
also
is
be in the
amazing.
show notes.
It will be in the show notes. All right, then. So Disney World was a good time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Nice little-
Always is.
You can
Is it?
that trip 1-2 punch is proof that you can go to Disney World and not pay your $100 to get into a park and have a wonderful Disney World time.
You'll pay more.
You'll pay more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Ooh, it
it's
hurt.
so delicious, and you get fried chicken and rum drinks. Maybe that's just catered to me, but that's so much fun. You can't ask for anything more.
What's the Venn diagram on fried chicken and rum drinks?
On rum drinks, and you're like, man, where's the best spot where I can just get like a hoot and holler and fun time, and then I get to go drink a tiki drink, which was one of my. I went to Chicago 2 weeks ago, and I did find the tiki bar, and I found the delicious fried chicken, and had that 1-2 punch in solidarity of y'all's trip.
Highlights were us telling the whole bar, telling Sean to do it, meaning get the Nautilus.
We were all chanting it, so we're all going, "Do it, do it." So like however many people fit in the bar, plus the waitresses and waiters.
Yeah, and then also shout out to Skipper Erica, who we also had a big rousing supporting chant of.
Oh, that's awesome.
She put up with our nonsense, which is
So
amazing.
thank you, Skipper Erica.
Yeah.
I get to go to OG Trader Sam's in 3 short weeks.
Look at you.
So I might like call in from Trader Sam's and be like, "Hey guys, how's it going? I'm at the real Sam's, just eating duck wings."
And the green beans, the fried green beans.
Fried green beans.
Yeah, that's Trader Sam's is the best.
That's what they need to bring to Florida is the fried green beans. That would just...
Well, fried food. I like the food at Sam's right now. That sushi roll is my jam.
I do too. I think I prefer the one at Disneyland.
Disneyland is they have a bigger kitchen, so they have better food.
Yeah, well, they have the counter service kitchen right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not 1-to-1, but I think that's what makes both of those Sam's so fun is that they're not the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're cool with it. We're different. And it's fun, but every tiki bar you go into throughout the whole world, it's a little different. So.
Spiky pineapple was so good.
Was it your first spiky?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best. So good. All right. So there's this thing that happens every September and October at Universal Orlando. I'm effectively calling it family reunion is what I tell people when they ask, well, what are you going down for? Who are these guys you hang out with? No, it's a family reunion kind of trip. So Horror Nights is our family reunion. And we're here to get down in the dirty and talk houses.
Creepy Uncle Joey and all.
Creepy Uncle Joey. Everyone's favorite. Okay. So we'll get right down into houses. I think we have this in ascending order.
No, we're going in clockwise order from the entrance.
We're going in
from
clockwise order from the entrance.
Entrance to the park.
Okay, so American Horror Story.
American Horror Story is your first one. Michael, your thoughts on the American Horror Story house?
as the American Horror Story fan of the podcast, it was awesome.
Did you recognize?
Walk up, they got the music blaring. You know, it's like vibrating your bones and your very soul. You walk through, got the best season to start off with. Good times. Good times. Loved it. It's a lot of work to get to, but it's worth it.
Yeah, we had to do Stain Scream at like right around 4:30 to 4:45 for that all the time, and we were one of the first ones in the house every single time we've done that, and that was definitely the way to do it.
Because then you could do that house and then get to a second one technically during still Stain Scream time.
Hell, you could do three during
three
Stain
or
Scream.
four.
Yeah.
You could do 3 or 4.
Shh.
That really opens up the night if you can get
Oh, it's
Not
the only way.
out of the way. But yeah, it's the only way you're going to get 6 or 7 is to get those 3 that fast.
Mm-hmm.
If we had really tried, we could have done every house every night.
Yeah.
But at some point, you just run out of gas. Yeah.
Some hour-and-a-half lines in the middle of the night.
Some nights,
Well, it's like by 7:30, 8 o'clock, we had 5 or 6 done every night.
Yeah.
And if you really just wanted to go do it, power through, you could totally do all 9, maybe a repeat at some point too.
But when you're looking at Chance having 75-minute waits, Dufftoberfest sounds much better.
Yeah. it's
Or
just
Men in
hard
Black, or go to Diagon Alley, or
Yeah, you're there
See
for the
a
whole
show.
experience and not just to crank out houses.
But
Yeah.
if you really needed to, you get there at 4:30, get in line for Stay and Scream, and you just commando the whole thing.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do everything in one night if you put your mind to it.
Yep.
With this year, you could have done everything in one night.
Which, I mean, it's the most crowded I've seen. So yeah,
You think they're selling more tickets, or is it just that popular now?
it's just that popular.
It's just, yeah.
Exciting.
It's great for Universal.
Yeah, hopefully it
Yeah.
translates to more money and then more money in the event, and they can
Yeah,
figure out how to
and
spread it out better.
They need
a
to
bigger
do that.
budget, and they need a bigger creative staff.
yeah, that's kind of one of the takeaways from the event overall that we can get into later is they were run thin this year.
Yeah.
The performance staff or the creative staff?
Art and design.
Yeah.
Creative, art and design.
Yeah. So
Well,
Because you have
hopefully-
things.
Hopefully they'll take that. They are making more money, and the event is 20-30% bigger than it was even 3 years ago. And go, okay, we're going to put full-time staff on this. We're going to do this. We're going to make this something
And
money
I'm-
every year, and not just use it as an ATM.
Yeah.
I feel good about it that Mike is kind of stepping back a little, and other people are taking up the mantle, because hopefully that'll help it out a little bit.
Mhm.
Mike's
Well, hopefully
great,
you can get
and he'll
2
still
other
be
people
around,
with full-time jobs helping Mike
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
It
So,
sounds like he just got too worn thin with everything.
but yeah, and he's in charge of doing entertainment for the parks and everything, and he needs help. So
It's
I'm glad
not
they're
really a side job anymore. It's a whole job.
yeah, it's blown up to a big thing.
Yeah. But I loved American Horror Story. I've never watched any of the show, but I thought it was a ton of fun going through the house, and there were some good scares in there, and I'm happy. It was a good house.
Yeah,
It was a solid house. I'm not a fan of the show either because I've never watched it. I shouldn't say I'm not a fan. I just have never watched it, but it's a solid house. It was long. It was very detailed. I didn't think it was in particularly like the most scary house I've ever been in, but there was some decent scares in there, and it was just beautiful. It was a well done house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
if you're trying to
excited
make-
about the future.
If you're trying to make an IP house, you kind of want it to be long, and you kind of want it to be detailed, and you almost want less scares. So if you're a fan of that, you can find the things that you like.
Yeah, and
I would have liked more room to breathe in the murder house segments, but yeah, it's a good house.
whenever I got back, of course, the students that I teach knew I was going, and one of them in particular, who's in my work base, she's supposed to leave school, but she stayed one day, and I showed her a walkthrough of the American Horror Story house, and she was freaking out. She's like, "Oh, I've got to go next year. I've got to see all this stuff." So it definitely is for the fans. It's something that is perfect for them.
Awesome. That's such good news that they're just cranking IP. With all these IPs that they have around, it's good news that they're knocking them out of the park.
And it's one they've wanted to do for
I think
Wow, yeah.
What do you think of The Exorcist?
Not a fan.
I liked Exorcist.
It was alright.
It's in my bottom third.
I liked it a lot. I
have it at number 7 right now.
Sean and I liked it a lot more, especially since our second go through, because we weren't stopped as frequently and all sorts of stuff. But I really enjoyed that house. Considering that one of the problems with some of the houses this year was repetitiveness. I think that house did pretty well with just having a movie set in one room. They did pretty well with stretching it out.
It was. I mean, I don't know. It's alright.
I just can't see how it could be anything other than mediocre. It's not a good house.
I have it as number 8 on my list, so
that's fair. It's yeah. Not much variety in there.
I forget.
There are stretches of darkness you just walk through. You can't see anything.
Yeah, I forget where I have it on my list, but I have way higher than you guys. Maybe like number 3 or 4 or something like that.
You and Sean both did.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst houses I've been in.
Well, and I only went through it the one time, so.
And Mike's only been through it once also, so I mean.
Yeah, but that was enough for me. The Reagan dolls, and it's just not. I'm not pleased with it at all. And I went in with an open mind. I watched the movie specifically because of it. I'm just not. It's not a thing.
All right. That's why they have 9. Not everything's for everybody.
Yeah, they gave it the old college try, but I think they swung and missed.
All right, let's just move on then. What'd y'all think of Ghost Town?
Oh, that was really good.
That's my really house of the year.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I haven't researched much on it. Can you explain like the feel of this house?
It's a Wild West town that is haunted by the ghosts of its former residents.
During a rainstorm.
Yeah.
So Phantom Manor?
Yeah.
During a rainstorm.
Was it actually during a rainstorm, or was it just raining outside?
Yeah, it actually rained.
It was literally raining in the house.
Yeah.
Was it open air?
No.
Okay.
Like they rain water on you, and then there are parts where you actually walk through strings that are designed to be rain.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like raining, like, don't think of it like pouring rain, but you feel drops of water sprinkling on you.
Apparently opening night, it was raining a little too hard.
Yeah, they've dialed it back. Yeah, they dialed it back. You get wetter on Kong than you do in this house with rain effects. So,
but there are some memorable characters.
Yeah.
You get a few scares. It's just a fun house. The sets are beautiful.
There's one scare that Sean always kept getting. The guy hanging down in the saloon.
Yeah.
I always missed him.
Sean always got that.
So, there was the
more of that actually.
The Indian Brave got me about every time.
Yeah.
And the little girl and the little boy in the bedroom scene.
Oh yeah, the guy who got his dick shot off.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, in the bedroom scene, there's one on the left of the bed and one on the right of the bed. The one on the right of the bed is a boy, like in a onesie, and there's a very visible bullet hole and blood, like right in his crotch region.
Right in his crotch. Yeah.
Damn it, man. And like in the house, you get shot by a cannon.
Yeah.
Or you can get hit with the cannon ramrod.
And there's the
tons
school
of wind.
teacher. The school teacher shoots you with a double barrel shotgun.
Back off.
There's some Pepper's ghost in there. There's also a woman there, which I only saw once.
I only saw that once too, but that was well done.
Mm-hmm.
A Pepper's ghost woman?
Yeah.
There's a Pepper's ghost woman and a real woman.
So the Pepper's ghost distracts you, and then she jumps out and scares you.
Yeah.
In theory.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fun house. The weights are low, so you could probably do it as much as you really want to.
It's very quotable.
Yeah.
It had fun meat-like quotes.
You would have enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Still a chance, y'all. Still a chance.
It's definitely up your alley.
Pun intended.
Ugh.
All right. Anything else on Ghost Town?
Bad.
Anything else on Ghost Town?
It's one of those things that I like Ghost Town a lot. I have it ranked like 5th on my list, but it's not because it was bad. It was just all the houses were so evenly matched this year, and it was hard for me to place Ghost Town because I really liked it. So you're saying this is all time one of your favorites?
I think I prefer Dead End over Ghost Town.
What's Dead End?
Dead End was another Western house in 2012.
It's a former house.
Sorry, I thought it was a house this year. I'm like, what? Okay, never mind. Sorry.
No, you got to keep up with Horror Nights fans. They know all of the houses as far back as they know.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're talking to them, you can just make stuff up. Do you remember that Trails Scares house from 2003? Yeah, man, I really like the one at 14 better than the one at 17.
So basically, you can treat them like jaywalking segments of like just making stuff up and.
Correct.
Nice.
That's what Orlando United turns into sometimes for me.
It's like, oh, you remember that scare where they jumped out from behind the curtain? Man, that was a good one.
Remember that one in 1996 when we were 8? We were all there just, soaking in Horror Nights? No, I don't remember that. I was 8. Sorry, Brian. All right, let's move on to the Walking Dead.
Joe.
Yeah, exactly. He'll just blame me.
It was Joe's fault.
Walking Dead was so good.
It was good. Like, it was better than the last
good
4
house.
years?
It's one of the better houses I've ever been in, to be honest.
Okay,
really?
That's kind of.
How did they make the slow walking walker scary?
Okay, one, it's well designed. The scares in there are not predictable. They come out of nowhere. Like you can't anticipate them, and the cast really goes for it. And as far I don't want to identify it as Walking Dead, to be honest. Outside of the Terminus sign.
That's why it works so well, is that they don't actually go for the Walking Dead.
Yeah,
They made a good house.
It is very much so a Walking Dead house. It has a lot of things from the show throughout the entire house that pop up that go from the very beginning all the way through.
But as a lay walking, like I don't know anything about Walking Dead, but the things that I do know is like don't open Dead inside because I've seen it 10,000 times, and I've seen the Terminus sign.
Yeah, don't.
But everything else,
inside.
There's not much. As far as somebody who doesn't know Walking Dead, that like, you can enjoy it without. I think it's not.
I can only speak to last year's house that I went through, but like the problem with last year's house was they just had like zombies standing around, or they would lunge at you from far away. This was none of that. This was all boo holes. So the fact that they were slow doesn't matter.
It was all what?
Boo holes.
Okay,
it was great.
Boo holes. Just had to double check that one.
So this one, I mean, they just pop out, or they don't. That's the issue they had all years. Is like, oh, The Walking Dead, they're zombies. They shamble around. That makes a terrible house. So they got rid of all of that. So that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They also reused some of the best effects from the Scare Zone from like 23, was it, or 22?
Oh, he's doing it.
So yeah.
The tent.
Yeah, the tent and stuff like that, and
I mean, I have it right now tied for my top house. It might be because I'm a Walking Dead fan, but it was a good house too. On top of it, and last year I ripped apart the Walking Dead house. This year,
one of the best scares I've ever gotten.
I don't think it's as good as they're saying, but it's still really damn good.
Well, it's just exciting for me walking through houses with Mike last year, where he was like, "No, I almost have to like forget and then let my guard down to try to get scared." It's like he was actively jealous of the people that got scared. So the fact that this house got him that many times is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was one of those things too that you could know where the scare was, and it would still
and the
get
timing
you.
would still get you. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was just a well designed. It was a solid house, very solid house this yeur.
Love it. I wish I did it more.
The question is Walking Dead
I'm ready
next year?
I'm ready for a permanent house.
No, we don't want a permanent house.
Permanent house is coming. I've accepted it.
No.
Let's do it.
No, it's not.
They're just going to do a layover of Minions.
It's not. Yes, exactly. It's not going to be as good as this house when they do a layover. It just won't be.
But I'll still enjoy it more than Terminator 2 3D.
I don't know.
Hot takes.
Yeah, but you like Terminator 2 3D a lot, Joe, and like
it's
for everybody else, it's just kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah, you do have to time it, or it has to be the end of your trip where you're kind of bored.
you have to like wait for the pre-show. You got to sit through it, and not fall asleep. Where
that
take
long
Walking Dead
pre-show.
house, you could probably do it more often and enjoy it.
I mean, they could pick up this house that they have at Horror Nights, move it, literally the sets and everything over there,
But they're not going
plus
to.
them up a little
They
bit,
can't.
do a little bit things different, and boom, you would have a permanent haunt that would be well. I know that they're not going to do that, but I'm just saying that they could use that same set and design and structure to make a permanent house that would go over well.
Mm-hmm.
You pull out a couple of like the Whale Walker and the Bicycle Girl, and you make those animatronics and do a couple of things like that. It'd be pretty good. Then at Horror Nights, pop that thing full of scare actors. You got a house. You got
Best
a
surprise
solid
of the
10th
year.
house.
Best
Okay.
surprise of the year. Worst surprise of the year is coming up.
Yeah, I do agree. It's best surprise of the year. How good it is.
So we're going to play a little game for the next house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Each person has 30 seconds. We're going to start with, we'll go start with Nick. Nick, you have 30 seconds. Tell me about the Chance house. Go.
It was
30
crap. It was just, I mean, it's a complete and total rehash of previous houses. It's not done well. I hate it for my girl Chance because it completely ruins everything about her, because the house just, it's bad. It's a bad house. It's not scary. It's just, why is this crap in here? Because it makes no sense with her story. Just dumb. I don't need 30 seconds because that's all I got. It's just crap.
All right, that was 26. Michael, 30 seconds. Go.
Worse than a regional park.
All right, Mike has nothing good to say. Joseph,
So when
would
we're
you like
talking, yeah,
would you like your 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure. So
All
when,
right, go.
when we were talking about Chance being arrested in Portofino, the outside video loop has her like being arrested in like and coming out of an elevator in Portofino, and I noticed that, so that's why I brought it up.
That's the best part of the house.
Yeah. So the best part of the house is actually the exterior video loop, which is saying quite a lot because they show stuff from last year's Carnival of Carnage and
was
some
fun.
new stuff. The house, it starts off, you're like, oh, cool, that's really cool, and then nothing else really happens. I got scares, but it wasn't good. And
What?
There
Yeah,
are no scares. Joe is crazy.
I still got 2 scares. But you know what, the
Do they
dudes...
not have 3D?
There are no scare actors. There's nothing scary about it. There's no boo holes. There's nothing. It's terribly designed, terribly lit. There's no point. There's no plot. It's awful. It's an embarrassment to Universal, second only to Repository.
It got
So do you think marketing decided, hey, this character's popular, we all use it, and then
no, the issue
they ran
is
out of budget
No.
for it at the end?
they ran out
They ran out of money.
they ran out of money based on other stuff. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Okay.
like they saved that for last, and unfortunately, it got what was left. And
They didn't have it.
Lane,
But
last, you remember
it's
the
nothing like ILO described in the press releases. Absolutely nothing
Yeah,
like
nothing
that.
at all.
okay. What
Lane?
were
You
saying,
remember
Nick?
the Asylum and Wonderland house last year?
Yeah, I
The
liked it. It was
Alice
fun.
house that we went through. Okay, so they basically pulled those same sets out, rearranged them, and
Removed
whatever
everything that was
costumes
cool.
they had left over from previous. Yeah, moved everything that's cool, and whatever costumes they could find in the back of a warehouse from Halloween Horror Nights previous, they just put it on people and put them in there. It made no sense.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Now, was there a Chance hanging out in the streets?
Well, we're
Yeah.
going to get to that in a little bit, yeah.
Okay. We'll get to that
Well,
later.
and there were like 3 or 4 chances in the house too,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
just wasn't good.
But there wasn't enough. Okay. All right. Well, let's not dwell on something that wasn't good. The next is the Turner Classic Movies house,
Yes.
Yes,
TCM. What is this in
The-
reference to?
the narration was very good in the Turner Classic Movies house.
Okay.
That's about it.
It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Get it?
All right.
I like it less and less every time I do it.
How many times did you do
I
it,
agree
you
with
think?
Michael.
3 or 4.
3 or
Okay.
4. Yeah.
I only did it once because that smell bothers me. So, like, the smell in Exorcist...
smell?
It smells like... it's supposed to be rotting meat, but it's more like chicken-ish. But it's just... Ugh. I had to, like, spit, like, 10 times
I
after
didn't
leaving it
notice the
because I
smell.
couldn't get it out of my mouth and sinuses. The pea soup in Exorcist didn't bother me, and, I mean, Krampus smells amazing. But that... I could only do that house once. But I thought it was okay. But my list was based on houses I would do again, and that because of that smell, put it at the bottom. So that's just me.
So as a Horror Nights fan going into the future, do you think these IP houses are worth just doing once to see all their sets and appreciate the work of the guys that did them, but the ones you're going to rep are the ones they spent more time and effort in?
Well, I mean, that could be synonymous. I mean, it's clear that that American Horror Story was a love letter.
Okay.
And it had both of that, but then you get stuff like last year's Walking Dead or stuff like that.
So it's hit and miss which ones are it's hit and miss whether it's an IP house or an original house, whether it's going to be exceptional or just very average.
And you could tell that they put a lot of effort into
Okay, there we go.
You could tell that they put a lot of effort into Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like the set design, the look of the house was really well done. It fit the vibe of the movie really well. But I don't know if it was just familiarity. The first time I went to the house, I thought it was really solid. But then, like Mike said, the more and more I went through it, the further and further it fell in my rankings. And I don't know if it was just because, okay, I know what's kind of coming up, and Leatherface isn't really that scary anymore, even though it's like creepy what he does. But you know, I don't really know what the problem was with the house, but it just kind of lost something over time.
Well,
so it might be one that's like really good to do once and not good to repeat. It doesn't have good repeat value, is what we're saying.
Which is fine. I mean, they make it for people to show up on a Saturday and go once or twice. I mean, people to show up on a Saturday and go once and do 7 houses and that's it.
Yeah,
that's the median person they're trying to hit. Okay, not much to say about. How did they do the chainsaws? Just no blade and still rev it up, or
sound effects?
They weren't. They were sound effects. There was a couple at the end that were real chainsaws,
but they were outside, so
like the surprise scares at the end. Yeah, I don't know how they did that one though in the hallway with the metal windows that they were sparking off of the metal. I don't really know how they did that.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, Joe didn't see that because they didn't do the scare actor wasn't there the first time we went through that. That was later on, an additional run. But there was a hallway and it had three windows, and 2 of them had metal on the outside, like bars, like you would see on the outside of a house. And the chainsaws, Leatherface was standing out there, and he would run the chainsaw across it, and it would spark. And then the last one, the bars were missing, and it would be a boo hole. He'd stick his hand out and try to grab you. So.
Woo.
That was cool. I don't really know how they did that without having a chainsaw running, but I don't know how they did that, but I'm sure someone knows how they did that.
All right, well, then we'll move on then. How was Tomb of the Ancients?
Really good, solid house.
Mm-hmm.
What did you like about it?
It had a lot of good scares. It was tight and confined in there. It was very similar to The Walking Dead. The reason why it worked was because it had tight corners, a lot of boo holes, a lot of small spaces. Plus, they had the stilt walkers in there, which are always just
that's
great.
Cool.
Stilt walker in a tent house to me just blows my mind. Doesn't seem like they should fit, but they do.
Bump their head the whole time.
Yeah.
Joe, what did you think?
They had the strobe light going on him.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
Yeah,
Joe, what do you think of it?
I really like the house. I think it has my favorite exterior of any of the houses. It was, it looked like a giant temple, and it had a Jeep outside and a bunch of plants, so it was like really dense and had a good fog machine, and it had like a story kind of soundtrack going. Inside was great. They had a bunch of like stuff I haven't seen in a while. Like they had the first hallway just has doors that drop on you. And there's like strobes and like dead heads in there, and it just scares you because it just like is like a heavy like whomp on the ground, and it just startles you. There's a bunch of cool effects, like the glowing hieroglyphs scene is pretty awesome. Bunch of really good scares. Stilt walkers are fun. I had a good time in that house because I think the last time I went through, everyone ran ahead of me, so I was like walking through it alone basically.
Dropped a little bit. You said you went through alone that last run?
Yeah.
Was that like a late night run?
It was. I don't think it was a late night run. Actually, it was. Yeah, it was that Friday night. I think.
It was weird, that run, because it was like I was behind Brian, and there got to be a big gap between Brian and the person in front of him, And me and Brian were still kind of together, and then we got towards the end of the house, and we turned around, and nobody was there. It was just me and Brian coming out. So I don't really know what happened.
I think Ann was grabbing onto my shirt, and I couldn't walk too fast.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, there you go.
Very, very exciting.
But there's a lot of things in that house that got removed too from opening that would have been really cool to experience.
What do you mean, Nick?
So that's kind of disappointing. Well, what they had an area that was supposed to be where you could go to the right or the left, and it was two different paths, and then you remerged later together into one line. That got done, and then there was an area that had the floor that was like a funhouse floor where it slid. So like you would step on the things, and there was some ropes hanging from the ceiling that you were supposed to hold on to, and it would kind of slide with you while you walked across it. And there's obviously that got cut for a reason. And then Brian and Meg said that on opening night there was a couple of guest activated triggers that you could pull on ropes or touch some things on the walls, and it would cause things to happen to people in front of you.
I like that they can push the limits like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike's gone, so we're just gonna have to keep moving. Halloween 2.
Garbage.
Nope, Mike's here.
He's back.
Mike,
hey, Mike,
what'd you think of Tomb?
Mike, what'd you think of Tomb? He's back out. We're not going to worry about him. Tell me about Halloween 2.
Garbage.
It was not good.
He's just on a loop now. That's just a sound button I have where Mike yells garbage.
Is it really?
No. I didn't mind it as much as other people did. I had some good runs in there. But, yeah, that was weaker than the original house, I think.
A lot weaker. It's like my bottom 2, 3. No, it's number 7 on my list. It was bad. It just wasn't scary. Like, whenever you can take Michael Myers and make him unscary, that you've
well, Sean did a pretty good job of
something
doing
there.
That. Sean did a pretty good job of doing that. So.
Well, that didn't help. Yeah. But that didn't help the house.
Did not care.
But
all right.
It was almost sort of like how American Werewolf was last year. Like the cast wasn't into it as much.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Joseph said something really.
I mean,
shut up, Mike.
It was fine. It's a neat idea, but it just. But there was maybe 2 good
set design
mics
is
in
great.
there. The dumps.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it looked great, but there was some like missed opportunities. There was spots that could have been better. Dumpster mic was cool, and then the mic in the locker was the other cool one. But that was about it.
It's too wide open. There were no tight corners like at Walking Dead and
Tomb.
The other one. Yeah. So back to Tomb, I was eating dinner. The
puppet, go for it.
Crocodile puppet was misused. Wasn't used enough.
The what puppet?
Yeah.
The crocodile.
Ooh.
They have a puppet that's supposed to jump out at you, but it's the design there is poor.
Where it's laid out.
Because there's very little opportunity for you to get to it, and they don't use it often. But Halloween 2 is, aside from where you enter through the closet, is very wide open.
Yeah, and those don't need to...
There are stretches in there where you could see way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the closet at the beginning is great, and it's not utilized.
Well, let's talk about something that I assume everyone's going to love. A movie I haven't seen but would like to. And if I do get down there again, I will be watching it. Talk to me about some Krampus.
It's fun.
I love that house.
Loved it. Highlight of the year?
That's like my top. It's one of my
fun.
top. It's my top 2 just because I liked it.
Mike, what do you think?
The scare
I
actors
tweeted you
in
a
there
picture
are
of
fun.
the crocodile, Lane.
Okay.
Yeah. The elves don't look scary, but they really try hard. And it smells good, and it's a fun house.
Yeah.
What does it smell like?
There's a couple of
like gingerbread.
Oh, that's
like
pleasant.
Christmas. Yeah, it
That's a
smells like
pleasant
Christmas
smell.
in there.
It's fun. It's pretty.
Yeah, I had to. Sean basically explained the whole movie to me, and after that, next time I went through it, the house made complete sense to me, and I think that really helped because I haven't seen the movie either, but that knowing the backstory and what everything represents and all of that, they did a really good job making that happen in that house. I think that's why I appreciate it a little bit more than what I did. And there was actually, the last time we went through it, there were some additional scares that I didn't see the first couple of times that ramped it up. So it was a solid house.
Yeah, I liked it. I think there's a few opportunities for scares they missed out on, but I enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty good.
I'm upset that I missed the snow globes.
They're right at the end, dude.
What kind of snow globes? Were they big?
Apparently, they have old facades of old previous Horror Nights houses in the snow globes.
That's kind of
cute. You can only see a few how dark it is, and I didn't see any of them because I just didn't know what I was looking for. But I've since realized that since I've gotten home, hearing people talk about it.
I didn't realize that they were Horror Nights houses.
Yeah.
Well, that croc lion is scary.
I missed it the first time through.
Does he have a top hat on?
It sits dark most of the time.
I wish he had a top hat on.
Oh, wait.
That's not relevant, but it would be cool if he had one.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my Raven. Hello, my Clementine.
Joe, is that your Halloween costume? Are you going to be the WB frog?
Yes.
The one thing that I think with...
He's too tall.
Shut up.
The one thing with Krampus that would have been better... The one thing that with Krampus that would have been better is if Krampus would have actually, been in there and scared you.
Been a puppet or something. Well, one of the things that I heard was that the Krampus on the outside part was supposed to jump between the rooftops. And that never really worked, so, yeah.
Cool.
I just don't understand why you don't just grab I just don't understand why you don't just grab a stilt walker, put him in a Krampus costume at the end, and have that lunge at you, and that's your final goodbye.
Krampus.
All right, do y'all want to do house breakdowns, or you just want to move on?
I guess we could do breakdowns.
All right, do you have it on you?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
All right, we'll do that at the end then.
Okay.
Go ahead and pull it up for later, because we're here to talk about Lane's favorite part of Halloween Horror Nights, the street shows, and the regular shows.
Wait.
Shows it up.
Okay.
I said my favorite part. It's an opinion, Michael.
The greatest street of all time is Van 55.
Oh, yeah. Hands down. Talk about that.
Since I've been going. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, we can go. Let's go to Van 55. Mike, tell me about Van 55.
It's great. It's homecoming for the Sons. I can't know what the other one is, but yeah, basically it's vampires and
the really Sons are playing the bias.
Strong. Okay, that makes sense. And it's just strong scare actors that really care about where they are and really go for it and interact with the crowd. And it's a lot of fun. It's a big zone, and probably the biggest zone outside of Survive or Die. It has room to breathe. There's good props. It's just really. And
it needs
really,
to be
really
a
strong.
House next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It needs to be a house next year.
It's so strong.
That's what I'm most looking forward to. Of all the things, if I can get down there, is go see this Van 55 scare zone and hang out with some vampires from Greece. All right, let's hear about some other street zones. What do we want to talk about now?
Banshees is probably the second strongest.
All right, where was Banshee?
Same place as usual in the Central Park area between Hollywood and Kid Zone.
Okay, what did you think of
it?
Area.
Again, the cast really goes forward there.
They have good costumes.
Yeah, it has some room to breathe a little bit because you get that little walking area.
It works a lot better at not in darkness than it does during the day, which most of them do. But Vamp 55 can stand on its own even during the day. But
yeah, I think maybe the cast could go forward a little bit more. I think they kind of stand back a little bit sometimes. They have a guy on stilts.
2 guys.
It's very congested there, though, too. So
yeah, but it's like I feel like there's some missed opportunities for some scares there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear about this barnacle dude at Dead Man's Wharf.
Ugh.
Good
That
idea.
came back awesome.
Horrible placement.
They just kind of walk at you.
Yeah.
It's
It's
congested.
more of a-
atmospheric.
A Photoshop
Yeah.
spot than it is a mini scare zone.
Yes.
But like I said, it would have been a lot better if they would have moved it to the Chicago waterfront area, from Transformers to the Starbucks, than where it's at. Because where it's at, it's so congested right there with the Fast and Furious construction and that big, huge prop ship that they have, and there's so many people walking through that area. It just doesn't work well.
Yeah.
I wonder if they didn't put it there because of Cinespec.
But they don't run
like they
Cinespec
never
this
show
time of
it.
year, right?
They ran it Monday night.
Huh.
Right, Joe?
No, I wasn't there.
You said you saw fireworks.
I saw fireworks from Hollywood Studios.
Oh, okay.
They were too busy watching BAM! A Holiday Spectacular!
Exactly.
No one else thinks that's funny?
Yeah.
They named their Holiday Spectacular BAM?
Yeah, we yeah. Jingle
We'll just
bells,
do a different
jingle
notion.
bam.
We'll do a news show next week. Okay, let's hear about the...
Well, I'm not done with the Dead Man's Wharf yet.
Then get it out, buddy.
I liked it, but it was just all atmospheric. I mean, the lightning was cool, the fog was cool, the effects were cool. The dude who was wearing the diving mask, who had black light in the diving mask, and his face was
That was
painted,
amazing.
That was really cool and really great.
That was amazing.
But they're
Was it just a bong?
No, it wasn't. It was a diving mask.
Was it a diving mask bong?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Listen, the scare zone is so small that as far as Joe walks in front of us, like he's like 2 scare zones
already
in front
through
of
it?
us. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just gotta keep
So
them
like,
sedated.
so like if we're like in London, Joe's already in Chicago.
Stop that, Mike. Stop it. No.
And he's so
No,
short, you
it
can't
starts
find
like
him. You put like on like the kid leash or something.
This is just getting mean.
No
Anything else on
shit,
BAM?
Sherlock.
So you do want a leash for next year?
No. I want people to
Okay.
be nice to me. That's what I want.
Okay, well, find new friends.
I've thought about it.
So let's talk about another one. I want to hear about these wonderful pictures that y'all took with Chance. She seemed super fun in her little pedestal.
yeah.
What area was that in?
There was between Shrek and the Minion Mayhem ride and that little entrance area there.
Clearly, they ran out of money because there are terrible mannequins in all the stages except for the one that Chance is in. And it's a bad actress. So,
All right, not much good to say about that. It's the front.
Well, it's one of those things too that like me and Sean talked about was if they would have even put Chance up on top of the awning there above the queue for me and Mayhem and have like a couple of things that shot flames up around her and just let her be Chance, it would have worked a lot better.
You
But
mean
her
make it
being
more
down at
like
crowd level?
make it more like the show from last year that we loved?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, just
Yeah.
checking. Just
But
checking.
instead they put her at crowd level and it's just can I take your picture, can I take your picture, can I take your picture, or her just kind of laughing
And it's
saying
evolved
canned
into,
words.
laughing and crotch shots. That's basically all Chance is now.
Well, that sucks.
And because of the way it's done, that scare zone always has a problem because of its location. But with everybody stopping to see Chance, like the scare actors that are actually in there, they don't even like. And some of them are actually really good scare actors, but they don't get the chance to shine because it was just a bad placement.
Yeah.
Just bad. Well, that one's always hard, and everybody always complains about it.
I like
really think-
Masquerade.
I was about to say that. So that was the first year I went, and they just had basically scary ballroom dancers,
Yeah.
and they would hide in
That's fine.
places, and there was a chandelier, and that was perfect.
Yeah. Great
Less
music.
is more there. You give us some pretty costumes that you probably already had. Any other scare zones that stood out?
Well, there was
Ugh.
one thing in Chance was there was the people posing with those like stupid mannequins, and one of the scare actors ran up behind them and jumped and so just said he just was like photobomb and just like ran away. So that was pretty good. The other scare zone you're missing is Survive or Die Lane.
Womp womp.
Did you survive it or did you die?
I I just went to Finn's, so whatever.
I would like a double Jack and cherry Coke, thank you.
Last year, the Shady Brook hide and go seek was much better.
Last year's Shady Brook was awesome.
Yeah. Fun.
But
shout out to my girl.
It suffers from the same thing that every scare zone there does. It's too big.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the purge was kind of fun because they kind of made it smaller. They kind of just let everybody at it. Then I like the bigger scare zone sometimes because when I'm walking, I kind of let my guard down if I don't see anybody in front of me. And those bigger zones, people can come up from the side or the back of you, and you don't always know it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
want a super intense scare zone in Sting Alley where they can touch you and do butt stuff and everything.
But like with a glow necklace where you can opt out.
No, I want it.
Okay, yeah, I understand that's what you want, and I was saying if you did that, you give the people that don't want that a glow necklace and they can opt out.
No, they just can't go in.
Oh, okay.
Like repository.
An admittance only zone. Anything other on scare zones?
Just as weak as usual, pretty much. I'm not
weak is relative.
Before I went to my first Horror Nights, scare zones were probably like the biggest concern for me, and they're just not scary.
Yeah, I think it's just at a different level, and it builds the atmosphere. And also, you're in scare zones more than you're in houses. So I think they have a lot more to live up to. I think
the best one usually is the impromptu ones, like the roaming hordes in Springfield.
Yeah, the chainsaw.
Which I have on the list.
The chainsaw people.
So this year they had...
What'd y'all think of that?
They had scarecrows, they had geishas, they had hillbillies, and then they had the cheerleaders. And the cheerleaders were my favorite.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. They had bedazzled chainsaws, Lane.
Oh, that's awesome. Do we have pictures of this?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they're on Orlando
bedazzled.
United. You can find it. And also, they were just going to town. It was great.
Yeah.
Okay. Phrasing. That sounds really fun. Again, I'm really craving some Horror Nights, and I will not be able to make it to next September. I'll have to find other crazy stuff to do the next few weeks. The roaming horde chainsaw sounds fun. Bedazzled chainsaws sound freaking hilarious. I want to be a part of that. You ready to move it on to shows?
And we are.
Clap. Moving on. Let's go to Academy of Villains first, because it replaced maybe the greatest Horror Nights thing of all time, the death, fun magic show with characters we loved, and
Carnage.
And they replaced it with a dance troupe out of California, which is what they did 2 years ago in California, right? Where they were like, Bill and Ted got controversial, so we put in dancers with face masks.
Well, Jabberwockies was last year.
I think Academy of Villains is from Orlando.
Yeah, they're from Orlando. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which is cool.
Yeah,
support the local economy.
Hey, I can't hate on them. They got paid, but
dancers need love too.
I'm not a fan of the show.
Okay, but
I heard it was completely inoffensive.
Inoffensive is good in some respects.
I mean, it's just kind of there. It's not bad. It's not great.
Well, but you don't really like shows, Mike, right?
Huh?
You don't really like shows, correct?
I do.
Okay.
Like shows a lot.
The middle section. The middle section is really good.
Well, it's not
opening and the end are like, yeah.
Well, it's not even the middle section, Nick. It's like the first third of the show is pretty good, and then the other 2/3 of the show is just like, what the hell's going on?
I like sexy dancing.
The sheet. The sheet part is
awesome.
The best part.
The sheet's awesome, but then it's I got a skateboard, now I'm drumming, and it's like, what does this have to do with anything with a dance troupe?
Says the dude that loves Blue Man Group.
Yeah, no, but also it's not a dance troupe during Halloween Horror Nights. Okay?
This is...
Says the dude that
but there's like this one guy who's like, I can do everything, and I can do it well. Just look at me. And it's kind of like, okay, dude, we get it. You're awesome, and we're not.
Yeah, it was a weird show. I thought it was well done, but just not my jam. That's the only thing, and I totally respect that and understand it. So,
yeah. I think they need 2 shows, and they might have spent creative money last year for this year, and it was kind of just nice to sub out a show that is going to be good. For some people. So I like the second show because I would have seen the second show 2 or 3 times a night like I did last year. So let's talk about Bill and Ted. Going in, hearing it's going to be underwhelming, and then people say it's surprisingly fun. I feel like it's Bill and Ted's Bill and Ted. You got what you get. You get what you got.
Yep.
It's fun. It's funny. They have sexy dancers. They're going to make political jokes.
Yep.
They're going to make fun of rappers. I didn't even see the show. I'm just guessing.
I got to say the political jokes this year were really good. They were better than last
your apologies
year's.
now.
Mostly.
Yeah, I thought they were better than last year's political jokes for sure.
I accept your apology, Joseph.
What? I'm sorry.
Remember, like the hard stance. There'll be no political jokes. There'll be no Trump. There'll be no Hillary.
Well, there you go. I was wrong. Boom. I'm not apologizing for it.
You should, though. That's how you keep friends.
I did not apologize to my wife.
Okay. So nothing much to say about those.
Well, I think there's plenty with Bill and Ted we can talk about still.
It was as advertised.
I think it was solid.
Well, the problem with Bill and Ted this year is that there was no real connective tissue outside of like 3 moments. It was just very, very random, even for what.
Joe, I got a question.
Listen.
Buddy. Are you looking for the plot holes in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 25 years after the movie came out?
Nope.
I would say
theme park show?
Nope.
The plot was very strong. The problem is 2016 had nothing memorable except for sad things.
Political shit.
That's
and then
the problem.
people dying.
Well, yeah, I think that's another issue is that there's just a lot of sad stuff. But even then, it's like you had Ryan Lochte in the Olympics, and he just gets this one random throwaway gag.
That's all that matters. It's Bill and Ted.
No,
Bill and Ted, that's what it is, man.
But then you have
it's Lochte. Okay.
But then you have 2 fucking segments on Puppy Monkey Baby for crying out loud.
Okay, that part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem I'm having.
Keep Ricky Stump out of this.
There was more stuff last year I didn't get than this year.
That's
I don't understand it's like they wrote the show. They were done in March, and then they didn't do anything.
To me. I can help you. What
that
are you
very
confused
well
about?
might have happened.
I'm just serious. Like whenever you're doing a show in October and one of your biggest segments is making fun of the halftime from the Super Bowl from January, you struggled to write the show this year, or you phoned it in,
or you wrote
hate Coldplay. People love Beyonce. It's easy.
Yeah, that's actually more than half the show is Super Bowl jokes. I mean,
yeah.
It probably just wrote early because they had to, and then.
But then but then you get awkward parts where it seems like they just kind of, I mean, they really did phone it in. It feels like they did a draft around the Super Bowl. They did another draft in like July. And then they didn't touch it since, so they had to throw a bunch of stuff into it. Yeah.
And let's talk about this. Your main villain actually came from a movie that came out last December, not even in this calendar year,
and was somewhat and that joke was almost a little bit featured in last year's show.
Biggest movie of the year.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
It wasn't this year.
So. It's since the last Bill and Ted.
It was last year.
I mean, I agree with Mike that it's since last Bill and Ted, but even then, it was covered, and I mean,
no,
I don't know. It just seems It's they touched upon it. I don't think there was. I don't know. It just. Seems
I will die on this
good.
hill. At me, Twitter bros. I'm ready for your hatred.
Well,
this is a good Bill and Ted year. It's better than last year. It's not as good as 14 or 12, but it's.
Well,
solid.
The thing with Bill and Ted is we always look back.
It's not better
on
than last year.
We always look better. We always look back on Bill and Ted and think it's better than it was. I think that's just what happens. I mean,
Bill and Ted is what it is, man.
Yeah, and everyone thought Bill and Ted was terrible last year, and you look back and you go, okay, that wasn't that bad. And
it was
think
worse.
And
compared to this year.
And also, a thing you need to remember, Mike, is that this year's Bill and Ted has gone through many rewrites already.
Good.
Many rewrites.
It should be lean and it should be quick.
Yeah, so they've already pared that show down from where it was. And that's what we're trying to say is like when they opened the show day one, it sounded like this was not a show. This was a show that was on the back burner when they only had one show they actually had to write because they outsourced the show.
They might be just warming up into it.
No.
I don't know. The sexy dancing was good. Everything else, I could have lived without. I didn't watch it the last time that they went. I went and ate ice cream in Diagon Alley with Brian and Sean and his sister. So
yeah, you didn't get to see me be molested by Puppy Monkey Baby.
No, I
Joe
didn't.
doesn't
I'm
like
okay
the
with
show
that.
because it makes fun of millennial hipsters, and it's
Oh,
too
no.
close to home.
No. Okay.
Were your
Mike.
skinny jeans too tight that night, buddy?
I didn't wear skinny jeans that night.
Shots fired.
I need new friends. I'm getting new friends. That's what I'm doing.
That's okay,
Hamilton
man.
is literally giving him life right now.
Oh, it is? Are you going to see it in Chicago?
I wish I could see in Chicago.
It was only $350 a ticket for the matinee when I was there.
Only?
It was like $1,000 last time I looked in New York. All right, everybody.
I'm good.
Michael, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
I need are your rant skills stretched?
Oh, the repository?
Oh, how do you feel? Have you warmed up? Did you lean into this?
God.
I can't get you running off the go.
Let's let Joe talk
It's
about
like
how good
your
it was
typical
first.
Atlanta Falcons season. Starts off promising, Matt Ryan's the MVP level, and then just falls apart.
Joe, let me hear about this repository.
So the repository.
I actually
Paid
kind of
$50
liked it. It
for
was
it.
actually kind of good.
With the
I had a lot
promise
of fun.
of VR
So
and actors.
So the actors were good, for sure. They were great. I thought they did a great job with what they had. I enjoyed how it wasn't like typical, follow the rules or stuff like that. You actually kind of had to, just go around and stuff. I enjoyed it. I really did. Is it worth $50? And that's just the event? I don't think so at all.
Really enjoyed?
Yes, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
No bother.
The problem is now if we want, let's get
Really enjoyed.
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
What's going to happen when you actually do something that's fun in your life?
He's gonna really enjoy it.
So,
Like you're using up all the superlatives and great adjectives. I really enjoyed. Repository?
He's gonna- He's gonna make up new words like Disney does.
Fantabulous.
so the
Speaking
problem,
of magics or wonders coming out of dry dock, it looks so good.
All right, Joe.
yeah, hey,
Profess your love for the repository.
I don't know.
It does not deserve your love.
Well, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It wasn't worth the price. I think. I think there was.
You think?
There's a lot of cool aspects to it. My problems that I come down to are that there's a lead up to the actual house that plays 0 or 1% into the actual house itself. There's very little in the way of actual direction in the house, so things get very confusing, and it's not spelled out correctly, or that should have been something they should have definitely highlighted in that like confidential materials more that we could sit down and take in instead of stupid bullshit that doesn't really actually play into anything in the actual house.
Okay.
I think that's a big. I mean, like if you open that confidential stuff and it tells you about the VR headset,
Keystones?
the keystones, and like some of the other random stuff that just happens in the house, but ties it all together. So when it happens in quick succession, and there's an actor
You're not
in front of
completely
you,
and totally confused.
or you're not so. But also remember that, like in a Halloween Horror Nights house, the reason why there's no real exposition is because you're focused on taking all the atmosphere in. You're not focusing on the actual dialogue. So when you have dialogue plus everything happening around you, you get very confused. So that's one of the big things that they could have focused on more. I think from the gameplay perspective, the final room was interesting how they did it and how they laid it out, but it is what it is. And again, they needed to explain the things better and how how the colors went in order on each side. We got it, and yay for us. But that's generally my takeaway. For me, it would have been worth it if it was half price or less, or they offered like a free drink or free snacks, or that one-use express pass.
I agree with that. Is that you'd pay $25 for a one-time experience, like an upcharge at a theme park, and for $50, you kind of want somewhere in between that and a full-on character dining experience.
Give us 2 drink coupons and unlimited
2 drink
snacks.
tickets, and you know what? I think Knott's for theirs has a bar dedicated to it that's kind of themed, and you get your theme drinks, and like that would be fun. if the repository for your 50, because you can even charge 60 or 70 at that point, and you go, okay, well, y'all get 2 drink coupons.
Don't.
And a bag of M&Ms.
And a bag of M&Ms.
Well, not even a bag of M&Ms, Mike.
And a Jell-O shot.
I mean, how cheap is it for Universal Catering to provide a giant bowl of pretzels and like chips and all that shit? I mean, just basic stuff. Just basic.
Joe and pretzels. Let's just put it like this. This is how you fix the repository, okay? You leave the first room, you leave the second room, you leave the third room, you get rid of the virtual reality, you add 2 more escape rooms, and after you solve the puzzle, you put you back in the first room and you get to interact with that actor one last time, and you walk out.
Which is basically what the not upcharge room is,
that
right?
That sounds great. Yeah.
I would have,
and that would be great.
Yeah.
So I agree with everything Joe said, except for that he enjoyed it and everything. But his other explanation of everything made sense. I would have cut the VR entirely, and then I would have cut there's 3 VR worlds. The second one I would have cut. The SeaWorld or whatever, when you're on the stone pillar.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had the library where you could find clues, and I would have had the graveyard. And in the graveyard, that's where I would have had the intense Horror Nights experience. As of now, there is no intense Horror Nights experience. It is a glorified escape room, and it's not advertised as an escape room.
It's advertised as a house.
Yeah, and they go through all this rigmarole about how they can touch you and all this stuff. And yeah, they do touch you and they do talk to you, but it's not in any way you would feel threatened unless you had serious space issues.
Like Mike.
No.
He has water issues. Those are different.
I have Joe issues.
And here's the other thing. Okay, so you go and they tell you to remember your colors, remember your symbols, remember your colors, remember your symbols.
There are no other colors.
And you get on the VR headset. Well, you get on the VR headset and you walk around the library and you're revealing these symbols and you're revealing these colors, and then you get to the last room.
If you know how to use
none of
the
that
keystone,
even matters into it. Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
They don't tell you how to don't see anything.
And that's
and
again,
then they set up all this stuff in the pre-show about how the goggles see ghosts. The only ghost is your partner. Like, there's nothing.
Well, no, you saw the black dudes that popped up, the dudes that were like solid black with red eyes.
Hold up, Nick. What?
Yeah, they were crappy little animation things, but yeah, there was some solid like guys that were like dressed in solid black with red eyes. They didn't like actually like, interact with you or anything, and as soon as you like saw them, they vanished because you showed the keystone at them and they vanished away. But yeah, I had a few of those pop up in my headset.
Oh yeah, I had plenty of those too. Yeah.
Huh. I got nothing. The only thing I got was a feather duster on me. That's it.
Yeah, with the birds. That was about it.
What you're saying would be better is if we put the VR headset on you, and the second that happens, someone just comes up and punches you in the gut. And then you have to do the rest of a Horror Nights house.
Yeah, I want to be assaulted and battered.
You need to go to that one at this old prison outside of Philly. This scare house looks amazing and super scary, and we should definitely go next year. I don't remember what it's called, but it looks super scary.
When I pay more, I want to be scared.
Okay.
Instead of the VR, I just would like
the escape room. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, well, I still would have been mad for $50. Just instead of the VR, give me another room that I have to somehow figure out how to escape from to get to the final room. Give me another actor, another good interaction like I had in the first couple of rooms, and I'd be all right. You know,
the first room is so good.
Yeah, the first room's fantastic. But, even the second and third rooms are good.
Remember, though, also that we got a longer time in the first room because they took the other group back. If we wouldn't have gotten that longer time in that room, I don't think our interaction we would think as highly of that first room as we do right now.
So what do you think happened there? You think they do that often?
They do that.
Or are they trying to cut costs?
They have to do it because they pulse people through. So there's 2 groups in the first room. And one group goes first, and they do the key segment, and then they do the keys, then they do the keystone with the scientist,
the lady,
and then probably
lady scientist.
Then once
they show you the colors.
Yeah, then once you get through there, then they drag you from the second group goes from that main room into the second room. So it's like they kind of stage you. So. Yeah. If you get to the scientist like too quickly and they're still in VR, she can vamp some, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I wish maybe they had 2 key rooms so you could actually figure it out on your own.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We were rushed through the key room, so that ruined that experience.
Well, I mean, I would like to have actually gotten the key and gotten to another room, and us have to discover where the keystones are instead of discover what they are and how they work instead of the scientist lady trying to explain it to us in 10 seconds and us not understanding what she's saying.
The problem with the whole thing is there's a lot of needless exposition that does not matter. You're trying to take it all in, and then when you finally get to where you're going, it's all worthless, and it's just a big flat thud.
And then that's a good point that Sean brought up was he was walking to the scientist room and he saw these reoccurring numbers and he was trying to remember the numbers, and here he is trying to remember these numbers when everyone's overthinking it because you're trying to sell it up as this incredible experience that you have to remember everything, but it's so simple. People are missing. Yeah, they're just missing what the actual point is.
Exactly. Yeah, so I was trying to associate these symbols that I saw with things so I would remember what they kind of look like. Don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, just the colors. The colors you see in the third room, that's all that matters. Or the fourth room, the scientist room.
I'm hearing everything okay on my end, Len. So, but yeah.
So we're good.
First room is magical.
Yeah. And I would love
not
to
been
have
long enough, and then the scientist room.
I would have loved to have after we solved the final room, if it would put us back out in the front room with him.
Yeah.
For one last interaction with him, that would have been.
Well, it needed to wrap everything up. It needed to wrap everything up. So that's the thing. So.
There's no weight to the whole experience. There's no weight, WEIGHT. That kind of weight. There's nothing. There's no consequence. There's no. It's just fail.
You get a sticker.
But maybe if it had been advertised as an escape room, I'd be less upset.
Because that's more of what it was.
I'd be upset though, because the VR is completely pointless. That's where all the cost is coming from. Is the VR portion, because the technology, the development, that's where all the cost comes in, and it's completely inconsequential.
Do you think they'll be able to use it better in the future?
I don't know what their plans are going forward. I don't like this. I don't like anything like it. The VR just seems to go away completely. I want an intense upcharge house where you set up an appointment, you go, they could do whatever they want to you. There's no boundaries, and I want to get scared at Horror Nights like that.
Okay.
If they tell me...
But if go ahead.
If they say the repository is coming back next year, I will not be paying for it.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do something else.
Well, if it's exactly the same thing, if it's
exactly the same thing, then we just go to Rivers of Light. It's a whole new experience.
Well, you're not going.
They've lost me.
You're not going to know if it's the same exact thing.
Well, what I'm saying is, if
it turned out,
if it's the exact same thing, then no. But if it's something similar, then I would say I'd wait for reviews. And if people say it's better than last year's, then I would go for it. But if not, then no.
It would have to be substantially better. Universal no longer has the benefit of the doubt in my mind.
With this upcharge thing.
Yeah.
They get it for other stuff, just not this one.
They'll get it. I'll do a RIP. I'd gladly do a RIP tour. Love it. I would love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could be talked into that.
I would do scare acting dinner, but I will not do an upcharge house without reading a review first. And it would have to be overwhelmingly positive reviews. And even then, I probably wouldn't believe it because people are blowing Academy of Villains out the water too. So, But they were right about Walking Dead. So what can you know?
Nick, what are your final thoughts on Horror Nights?
It was a very solid year overall, from top to bottom. Everything was fairly good. There was a couple of thuds. In my opinion, there was nothing that was truly outstanding that stood out above the rest. I mean, American Horror Story and The Walking Dead, Krampus were all really good houses to me, as well as Tomb and Ghost Town. But I could interchange any of those depending on the walkthrough that I had at that particular time with those houses. Yep. So it was a very solid year, a very good year, but nothing like has been in the past where you can say, oh, well, this house is just so much better than the rest, which is probably a good thing because then you're getting a better overall experience than having a really good house and then a bunch of crappy houses because, it was just a solid year.
Awesome. Joseph? Final thoughts?
Same thing. I mean, when you compare it to last year's event, there's a certain amount of energy that's lost because it's on an anniversary year. There's no Monsters of Mayhem. There's nothing crazy awesome like Body Collectors. But what is there is at a very high standard, except for Chance. And I mean, it's a good year, and if this wasn't for last year being 25, I think this would be ranked way higher in some people's minds.
This would be pretty high.
Yeah, it would be pretty high. So I thought it was really good. And also are we going to do house rankings now or later?
Now, just post it on the internet.
Okay, well, it's already on the internet, so go look on the internet.
Go look on the internet. Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mike, would you go back?
This year, I'm not really clamoring to go back.
Next year?
Oh, definitely.
Nick, same question.
Next year, last week in September. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be back next year.
I'll be there every year.
At this point, I would consider going back because of how close I am, but I probably won't go back because of how my pass is and how work and all that is for me. But I would consider going back because, like I said, it's just solid. It's a solid year. There's some houses that I wouldn't mind going back through just to experience them again, and especially Vamp 55. I could just go sit on a bench and watch that scare zone for a while.
Yeah,
Joseph.
What was that?
Would you go back?
Yeah, I would go back this year. Yeah, I'd always go back.
Would you go back next year?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I go back next year?
All right, that was my question.
Yeah.
Y'all had some negative things to say, so you just have to.
Repository hasn't made me that mad.
I have to. I just have to put it in context when people are negative about things they really love, because if you're going to complain that much, then please don't come. But y'all didn't complain to the point where you don't want to go back. So
right. But also, we didn't complain that much. We said a lot of positive stuff about these houses.
Yeah, I mean, we said a lot of everything. I just want to make sure.
Chance is terrible. Back. Yeah. You can't defend Chance and Repository.
You can't defend the use of Chance this year. How she's used this year, you can't defend.
Chance, bottom line, is bad this year.
And it's completely...
Repository was just misadvertised.
Very sad.
Yeah. I think if Repository had been advertised as an escape room at $25 with a drink, nobody would complain.
All right. Michael, where can we find you on the internets?
You can find me at Parkscope Joe.
Nicholas, where can we find you on the internets?
It's at Parkscope Nick.
Joseph?
I don't know. You can find me at Parkscope Joe.
And I'm Lane. You can find me at Parkscope Lane on Twitter. I do need new friends. I'm trying to put more content up there. Again, I'm going to Disneyland later. Make sure to read our articles on Parkscope.net. We got some guys putting up really good stuff. Very smart people are writing fun.
So none of us are writing.
None of us. None of the people that rambled here.
Maybe I'll write to our repository.
People that that are very educated theme park stuff are writing articles for us. Joseph.
Yep. That includes,
do us the honor.
Yeah, and that includes a write-up that is 1/5 as long as the Prisoner of Azkaban about Animal Kingdom. So go read that. That's
really good too.
It's really good.
I got deep into it. It's as good as the Imagineering books that I love so much. So
Jeff's a good writer. Go read that. He knows his shit a lot.
Stuff. And you'll learn stuff.
Yep. Yes, you do. So as said before, you can find all us at Parkscope.net or at Parkscope on Twitter. At Parkscope.net, you can subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a review. Be real nice. Yay. Give us a 5-star review. Better review than Mike gave of the repository.
Tweet out your listen. Tell a friend.
Email us. Yeah, email us. Follow me on Twitter so I have friends now because I'm ostracizing all these losers. Yeah.
Do you know what's really important in this world?
What?
Mike got a wand.
Michael, close us out, dude.
Love everybody. Hate everything. Michael got a wand. Congaloosh.
Congaloosh.